Okay, so just a quick guide on how to operate your Vibiemme Domobar machine. This will apply to both the junior and the super model, and we've got to go over a few very important points that's going to ensure that your warranty is covered. Okay, really important, the water reservoir is always full, so make sure this guy is always topped up with water. If it does run out of water and the machine overheats, it can affect your warranty. When it comes to turning on the machine, with the junior model, just turn it on. With the super, you need to turn it on to stage 1. And this is the water filling. Let it fill first. And then on to stage 2 so it heats up. Now that's only required to do when the machine is empty, but it's good practice to always do that when you turn on. Again, that's only on the super model. One thing that's going to happen on all coffee machines is scale build-up, so you're going to get some scale build-up over time inside the boiler. That's going to depend on how much you use your machine and the quality of your water, so definitely always recommended that you're using filtered water through a coffee machine. Even filtered water is going to leave some scale build-up over time, so we recommend really getting that checked and sorted at technicians. So you can always call these guys Espresso engineers. They're going to be the ones that will do your regular servicing, and they can do a descale as it's needed. There's a couple of wearable parts that won't be covered under warranty. The main one is actually the seal inside the head. So up inside here, around here, is a round rubber seal that will get worn over time. You'll probably find that the handle will stop about here when it's new, and then as the seal gets older, it'll come around further and further and further until it starts to leak. So that could be 6 months, it could be 12 months, it could be longer. But that's a wearable part that will need to be replaced. So we actually have another video on how to replace the seal. Otherwise, speak to your technician. Again, there's a little rubber grip here that's going to wear eventually. There's also a tiny O-ring that goes into the milk tip seal. You'll probably find a few small O-rings on the machine that eventually will wear, and they won't be covered under warranty. Easily fixed, easily replaced though. Just be aware the unit does get quite hot, especially on top of the head. This is going to be very, very hot. The water tap and the steam wand are also obviously going to be quite hot. Anything that's black is safe to touch. But always just be aware that the unit does get very hot. The drip tray is going to fill up quite quickly, so you can take this whole thing out and obviously clean that regularly so it doesn't fill up. Now on the super model only, you have the option to get this plumbed in. So there's the option to get the water source through a filter and then automatically filling the machine, and also the wastewater going out automatically, so you don't have to fill up your boiler and empty the drip tray. However, this is a little bit more complicated, and we really recommend you talking to a proper technician about getting this set up. There's a few more pieces required, and you may require a plumber. The portafilter or handle should stay hot, so this should actually stay in the unit at all times. So once you use it and you take it out and clean it, leave it back in the head, not out like this. You can see how the filter is keyed, so it's only going to fit in one way. That way is actually 45 degrees. So put it in the middle there, turn it to 45 degrees, you'll feel it lock in, and then bring it back to the center and it should go quite tight. If it doesn't go in properly, you'll feel it go sort of past the center like this, and it won't lock in properly. Bring it back to that 45 degrees, that's where it fits in, and it should lock in and stay at about 90. It's going to take a little while to heat up. Sometimes you might see quite a high reading on the pressure gauge. This is actually quite common in these Domobar models. There's no actual pressure holding. We call this sort of phantom pressure. So you can see it's just warming up, but it's showing 11 bar. Watch as I just release the pressure, it's gone. So kind of like a phantom pressure holding in the gauge. Yes, these have a hot water tap, so great if you're going to make long blacks and things like that. However, it's not a huge water reservoir, so we don't really recommend using the hot water tap unless you really need to be using it. If you just want to be warming up cups and things like that, try water from a kettle. Always remember to turn these taps off properly, so after you've used them, make sure they're completely off. Otherwise, the slightest amount of dripping can eventually just drain the whole reservoir. Here you can see now our little orange light has turned off, showing we are ready to go. So now we've gone over a few basic instructions and the warranty points, let's make some coffee. Okay, to pull our first shot, I'm going to fill it up with coffee. And I'm going to level it off there so it's about flush with the top of the handle. Cool. And we're going to pack that in firmly, but I'm not pressing down with all my body weight. And give it a bit of a clean. There's a rubber seal in there, so I want that to be a nice clean seal. In the machine. And on. So there's our coffee extracting, and it's coming through a little bit on the slow side, so I'm going to just coarsen up our grind just slightly, very, very slightly. So something we want to always make sure the amount of coffee we're putting in is consistent. It may vary, it may be less, it may be more, but whatever it is, it should be consistent every time we do it. And we'll try that again. Okay, so this one should get it. Okay, so that looks like it's extracting a little bit better. So you're going to have a bit of experimenting with the amount of coffee you put in the handle, how fine that coffee should be ground, and how much liquid you should extract. So all those different things you get to experiment with, trying different combinations and seeing what you come up with. Standard double shot of coffee is going to be about 50 to 60 mils. So let's just check that out in our standard Demi-Tasse cup. Extraction is looking pretty good, and we're going to bring this right up close to the surface, and that's going to give us about 60 mils of espresso. Getting pretty close to stopping it now. I'm probably going to go to about there. So just to show you, I'm going to carefully pour that into here. That looks pretty good to me. So now for a long black, I'm going to use this slightly bigger cup. I'm going to put in the shot first to make it easy. And now I have to decide when I want to switch it off before I add some water. I think this is looking pretty good about now, so I'm going to stop there. So essentially I've just guessed the amount of coffee. I haven't weighed it, I haven't measured it. You can if you like. But essentially I think I've got close enough to about 50 mils of espresso in there, and now I'm going to add some water. I'm just going to get some water from the tap. The idea is I want to gently pour in the water. I'm going to slide it down the side of the cup, and what that's going to do is not going to disturb the crema. Bring it right up to the top. There we go, we can see we've got a pretty good looking long black, nice crema on top. Nice. So frothing milk is just going to be a bit of practice. Blue milk's going to be the best. Always about half full. So regardless of your size of jug, this is a small 400ml, with using a 600ml, a 900ml, it's halfway. So we always start with about half full. It's nice and cold. Purge the wand first. So you can see the control here, just to clear any water that's sitting in the steam wand. So the nozzle goes about 1 centimetre into the milk, and then turn it on. I use my hand on the jug so I can feel the temperature of the milk. I'm going to try and keep it spinning around as much as possible, and when my hand gets so hot I can't keep my hand on there anymore, we're pretty close. So as you can see, it didn't take very long at all. First thing I'm going to do is take care of that properly and purge it. If you do that every time, it won't block up with old milk. Cool, so that looks pretty good to me. Give it a little bit of a swirl. We've got coffee from before, a little side to side, a little round and round. And again, it's just going to take a bit of practice there. I'm just going to throw that straight in there. Done. But lastly, we've got to cover a couple of very important cleaning procedures. You can either use the commercial grade Polycaf, or we sell this more for the retail market, the Evo cleaner. Both are very good products. Really important that you use a proper espresso cleaning powder. So I'm going to remove the handle. I'm going to take the basket out of here, just using a little spoon for a bit of leverage. Makes it nice and easy to come out. You can see this one's quite dirty. Really needs a good clean, needs a good scrub. The best way to clean this stuff out is using a green scourer, not a full steel wool one, just this nice fine green scourer, and good old dishwashing liquid works really well. So just a bit of hot water, I'm just really going to get in there, scrub it all out. A little bit of dishwashing liquid. Now this is the only chemical cleaner that I would use anywhere near the machine. I generally only would use it for cleaning out the portafilters here. I never use any sort of spray and wipe or any sort of kitchen cleaner. Okay, so that's looking much better. Now this is actually quite a used old portafilter, so your brand new one should come up a lot cleaner than this. This part here, obviously, same thing. We're going to insert our blind basket. So a blind basket is a basket that has no holes. You can see the spring clip that sits inside here that holds the baskets in place, stops them from popping out. So we've just got to press our blind basket in past that. So now I'm going to add a very small amount of our Polycaf cleaner. I'm only using maybe about a pea-sized amount. Just a very small amount like that. You could use a little small metric teaspoon maybe. I've probably got half a teaspoon worth in here. Into the head, turn it on, and I usually turn it on for about 10 seconds, turn it off for 10 seconds, and I'll do that a couple of times. So you can notice quite a lot of water, and you can see the chemical cleaner coming through the overflow here. Let's do it again. And I might do that one more time. Obviously I don't want to leave the machine running for too long, 10 seconds at most. Okay, so now that I've run that cleaner through a couple of times, now I want to flush it out. I can take the handle out and we can see it in there. You can see a small amount of coffee in there. Obviously this isn't very dirty because I've hardly used it, but over time this is going to get more and more filled with old coffee. So now I'm going to sort of turn it on. At the same time, I'm going to pull it out. So be careful because obviously the water is quite hot. You can wrap your hand in a tea towel maybe. Essentially I'm just going to use this action to flush the water over the top of it. So I've managed to get all the chemical cleaner in and around there. It's flushed it all out. Okay, and that's looking pretty good. Once we've cleaned the machine, it's important to run one shot through. We're actually going to waste this shot. So this shot that goes through will take away any residual chemical flavour that might hang around. It's just going to season the machine with coffee. Always good to do after a chemical clean before we drink our next coffee. And this coffee just gets wasted. So keep your machine as clean as possible. Use the chemical cleaner maybe weekly, maybe fortnightly. It'll be up to you to sort of decide how much it needs. My machine at home, I probably do it about every 20 or 30 cups of coffee. So at the moment for me, it's probably every week or two. I get away with that. In a commercial setup, we were making hundreds of coffee every day. We would be chemical cleaning the heads every single day. Very important, every day. In a home machine, we don't need to go that crazy, but it is important to do it regularly.